So let us now create a local class which actually imbibes into it the concepts of import and export parameters. So we will create import and export parameters in the class. So we'll go ahead and create a class C1 definition and class. So we have a public section, data. So we'll also look at the private section as well. So we can go ahead with the methods. Say say something like, so we have importing importing some value like input 1, in, and this way we have PR. PR is a process, and then we have out, exporting OP1 type. Type I'll go for, instead of n, I'll go for numc underscore 5. Here also I'll go for numc underscore 5, or we can also give any other property. So this is a public section. Then we have private section. In the private section, I'll declare something like data a type numc underscore 5. So what are we doing here is we are trying to understand how these import parameters, export parameters, private section on all these works. I think network is okay. So if you observe here, we have three methods: in, PR, and OT. These are the three methods that we have, and in this, like we have got this data, we've got this got these values here. Just a second. Have these values here, and we have got this parameters, import parameters and export parameters. How they will work is what we'll see. And A, we have given it as in private section. So how are we going to make use of this A down the line in the class is what we'll see now. So we'll go ahead and go for the class C1 implementation. In class, in this method in, and method in, and method. In this, what we have to do is we have to go ahead with the method in implementation, and I'm going to write this method implementation here. And in this, I'm writing a very simple concept here, that A is equals to n. So this is a simple code that I'm writing here. A is equals to n. So in happens to be like IP1. A is equals to IP1. The IP1 happens to be the import parameter here. So this is what I'm writing in the method IP, method in. And then we have next method is method PR. So method PR, let's write a simple logic in method PR. Method PR and method. So in this we'll write something like we have add 1 to p add 1 to a, add 1 to a. So what are we doing here is, in the first method we are writing one line code that a is equals to ip1, and method pr I'm writing a code called add 1 to a, and method op output, or so this is some ot, method ot and method something like this op1 output 1 is equals to a. This is what we have, and then we'll go for this one, like this is the code for class, and we'll go ahead with the data, something like say number, type numc underscore 5, value 10, and then startup selection, and this create object. Okay, so we have to create we have to write this one, and this is something like we also have to write that obj type ref to c1. So you can have any name for the object, as you already know. So create object obj, and now what we'll do is we'll go for we can directly write like this, obj, instead of call method we can directly write obj, the first method we are going to call the first method, that is in. So obj in, and in the bracket you can write that input parameters, saying that this is what is the input parameter, ip1 is equals to number, ip1 is equals to number. So what are we doing here? Number is some value. I'll explain you the entire code again. So then we have let's say we have do 5 times enddo. In this I'll write this something like obj, the second method was pr, that's it. And then we have, okay, so if we write this pr, we just need to keep the blanks here. Then we have obj ot of bracket op1 is equals to a. cl underscore demo underscore output display number. So this is what we have. Let me show you this. So we have to write here importing Okay, now let's understand the program. So let us now focus on step-by-step process of what exactly we have done. Basically, in this we are trying to understand two main concepts. One is how do we actually do the importing and exporting, and also we can add changing as well. So there are three kinds of parameters which we can add for any method. And let me tell you that here we are using importing. That does not mean that exporting cannot be used for the same method. For the same method, you can use importing, exporting, and changing all. Now, in this methods, we have importing IP1 type numc underscore 5 PR OT. So these are the three different methods that we have, which has the parameters here, import and export parameters. And then we have, we'll be going ahead with these three things. So first, we have to do the implementation for in. So this for in, we have this implementation here. Okay, so then we need to go ahead with this in implementation, the implementation for in, and then implementation for PR and implementation for OT. Because since we have three methods, for all the three methods, we need to have the implementation here. Okay, then we have to go ahead with the data number type numc underscore 5. Number type numc underscore 5. So here what are we doing is we are declaring some variable, some simple variable type numc underscore 5 value 10. So object type ref to C1. So this is the object. Obj happens to be the object. So startup selection. In this we have create object obj. So these are the two steps for creating the object. Now let us understand the program. So what we are doing is we are calling the first method. We are calling the first method. And what's the first method that we have here? In. And for in, since we have the parameters, it's mandatory for us to use the parameters. That's import parameter. So whatever is import in the class will become export in the program. Okay, so I can also, this is a shortcut of that, writing that, but what we can do is we can also write like this: obj in exporting IP1 is equals to number. So what we are doing is, this is also fine. This is also fine. So we are writing a shortcut of this exporting. Even if you don't write exporting, it will by default take it as exporting. But importing is not like that. Importing, we have to write importing, mandatory. Okay. Exporting we don't have to write. So that's the reason we didn't write it here. Now do 5 times. Okay. So let's see what is happening here. Now in the 34th line we are calling this in. Okay. It goes into the in. Okay. Before it goes into the in, what is the value of number here? Number has got a value called 10. Here the number has the value as 10. So what's number here? 10. So now the 10 value is passed to IP1. Okay, and what's the IP1 value now? 10. Now let's go into the in, into the method in. So inside the method in, when it goes to inside the method in, it takes forward IP1 value as 10. Remember that. So IP1 value, what was the IP1 value in the program? It was 10. IP1 value was 10. Now this one, okay, this is the IP1 value as 10, and A value also becomes 10 now. So once it comes out of this method n, the value of A will be 10. Now let's go back to the program, and inside the program we are calling this obj PR. Now we have this PR, double click on the PR and we will go here. So what was the A value in the previous step? It was 10. Now what we are saying to the system is add 1 to PR, means it becomes 11. But how many times it has to execute this? It has to execute it 5 times. It has to execute this 5 times. Means what? The same thing has to be again and again done 5 times. So 5 times when it goes inside this and increments it by 1, it becomes 15. It becomes 15. And once it becomes 15, your value of this A, the value of A becomes 15. Now it comes back to the program, and in the program it calls the OT. In the OT we have a value of A as 15. That is passed to OP1. Now what's the value of OP1? It's 15. And when it comes back to the program, the OP1 is already 15. Now because it's importing, the value of OP1 goes to the number. So number will be filled with the data of left side. Normally what happens, by default, right side value will go to the left side. But since we have written importing, this value goes to this and number value becomes 15. And when we try to print that, so this is a shortcut to print it. Okay, I can also print it like this. Write number. So to get a better view of it, we are using a standard class. Let me also explain that one as well. So you'll get the output as 15 here. You get the output as 15. But if you observe this, this is a normal output. But the same output can be seen in a better way with this one. So 15, this you got in the pop-up. Okay, so just to get that output in that format, we are writing in this. Okay. And this is what we have. Class definition, implementation, and then making use of that in the program. So we are primarily focusing on getting the output and how to use the private section. So private section can be used only within the class. So where were we using A? A we are using only within the class code, means implementation code here. Within the implementation only we are writing it. A will not be accessible outside this class. Means in the program you cannot call A. So A is something which you are processing within the class. And this, yes, CL underscore demo underscore output is a standard class in which display is already a standard method as well. So we are directly calling it. So what does this symbol indicate? Symbol indicates that it's a static method. Display is a static method inside which we are passing a parameter called number, for which the values have to be displayed. So that's what the system is doing. This is a standard class and this is a standard object. This is what we have. I've shared the same code in the blog. You can go and check now. So we have that code there. You can make use of that. If you feel you're getting benefited with this, please do subscribe to the channels. Thank you.